Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Those Two Geeks. My name's Alex. His name is Joe. Do you know what? Like, we have been talking about me doing the intro for the last 20 minutes and with other stuff that we're just chatting about, and I completely blanked what the intro was going to do is going to be, so it's going to be this instead.
That's okay.
Um,
So
he's Joe. I'm Alex. Welcome to the show. I don't know. We we're
before you
off.
get started,
I
I'm
was gonna say,
always interrupting. Call me
oh, that.
Roman Reigns, but
Ooh,
I'm gonna quote the greatest songwriter of all time. I feel, is this real life or is this fantasy? And if you don't know what song that's from, look it
I,
up.
dude. If you don't know what song that's from, I worry.
I know, but what we're gonna talk about tonight, appropriately, is Alex and I decided to do an impromptu just chat, chinwag, what have you, on the events going on around the WWE. Again, we've alluded that we've become a semi-wrestling podcast out of nowhere, and I'm not mad at it. But
No, honestly. So here's the thing, and I
Mhm.
don't. I still am not. I definitely don't watch WWE, and I think we'll get into this more in a minute. So here's the
Mhm.
thing: when it comes to us becoming a wrestling podcast, again, not mad at it.
Yeah, no,
Um, it's one of those things, like, it's what we're interested in at the moment, and I think that's what this
Mhm.
show is about. Like, we there was a time where we were a complete and utter toy podcast because that's what you and I were talking about all the time. It was
yep,
we were super into toys. We still are into toys, but because we're not buying as much, we're not
right.
as as focused on it. So, like, I've been, like I said, I mean, I picked up a couple of figures the other day, but they were those the 3 3/4 retro Marvel Legends ones that
Mhm.
I got for dirt cheap, strictly to pin up on my wall.
Right.
I'm not doing anything with them beyond that,
Yeah,
right? Like,
ladies and
I
gentlemen, the bottom line is Matthew and I have been quietly
did you
converting
just call?
Alex.
Yeah, okay, I was gonna say.
We have been quietly converting Alex to the WWE fold. And something like what we're going to discuss, the events of last night, I think is going to start bringing you
it
in
so
because it's so enthralling.
here's the thing, and we're
Mhm.
gonna get right into it. So,
Yes.
for context, if you're not a wrestling fan and you still feel the need to listen to us, thank you. What we're
Thank you.
talking about is there was a press conference. I say yesterday, but that was Thursday at 4 p.m. Vegas time. It was a
Hmm.
pre-WrestleMania conference.
Yep.
Um, the WWE were hyping it up, hyping up the road to WrestleMania as any big fight would. I
Hmm.
I have thoughts on why, on them doing this with Elimination Chamber still around the corner. It
Hmm.
it almost invalidates a lot of what you're going to see at Elimination Chamber when it comes to Rhea Ripley
Right.
defending her, right? Like, so I get why you would want to start hyping up the biggest show on the thing,
Hmm.
but I feel like you should have started this after Elimination Chamber so that you're not um
Yeah.
taking, you know what I mean? Like, you've got
Agreed.
Rhea Ripley defending her belt against Nia Jax at Elimination Chamber. Well, we all know what the outcome on that is going to be at this point,
Pretty much. Yeah. And,
right?
and
Like,
you know what? Sometimes you want the projected outcome. I mean, that is the
mhm.
match. Anything else would be a disappointment. But you're right to the point where, this would have been better off uh, March 1st, the week of March
Yeah,
1st. However, I feel like the
it was
TKO part couldn't help but steal some thunder from the Super Bowl this weekend in Vegas.
100%, 100%, and
And they
that's what it
did.
is. That's just like they did it to capitalize on the Vegas
Yep.
the
The Super
fuck.
Bowl.
Thank
They
you.
did they did it though, and it was a masterstroke because
Yeah.
this is a different
So
regime.
did you
This
did
is a
you
new WWE.
did
Mhm.
you notice though that the press conference? I'm gonna say this, and you're either gonna be mad or you're gonna laugh.
Okay.
You know how when you watch AEW, there's creative camera angles, and you don't
Yeah.
always see certain parts of the
Hmm.
arena. Did you notice the same camera angles in that press conference?
Oh, of course. But they also said thank you for the few thousand who showed up.
Yeah, I think that now. I mean, in terms of getting attendance, they didn't do themselves any favors with it being at 4:00, which
Right.
it's 4:00 almost anywhere else would be a reasonable time for it.
Right.
But
Exactly.
it's 4:00 in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are still asleep at that point if you're on vacation, or you're
Yeah.
not ready, or you're not going out to something like that. There would have been a lot of people with their Super Bowl rituals already planned.
Right.
Many different things. So,
And
and
supposedly this was thrown together fast.
I
Like
think
this wasn't even
it
out
was.
for a week. I guess this was
No,
known.
I think it was. I think it was very much probably thrown together after the
Yeah.
SmackDown episode,
Exactly.
where Cody steps aside. Like,
Right.
it's
So.
one of those things where this is the kind of quick storytelling I appreciate, because
Mhm.
they're pivoting off of everything. So do
They're
you want to do the recap, or
absolute.
do you want me to do the recap? Because we probably should at least
I'll
have
do the
some structure
recap.
to
I'll
this.
do the recap. So the recap basically is, and they are pivoting to a point, but I also feel like there's been enough breadcrumbs that there's been a overarching long-term plan. It was significantly different without Seth's involvement because Punk was going to tie him up. So they're pivoting on that point, and I think it's brilliant the way they're doing it. But yeah, the recap is basically last Friday on SmackDown, Roman Reigns came out, and Cody was there to address who he was going to face at WrestleMania. And Cody had already made the trek to Raw that week earlier, and Seth Rollins pleaded his case, where they left it at it's quite possible that he might choose Seth because Seth pulled on the heartstrings of the working man's title, the Dusty Road legacy, the respect, yada, yada, yada. But then you saw Roman come out to end SmackDown, which is, rare these days that you even see Roman, but he came out. So you knew something big was going to go down. But he came out and Cody came out naturally. And what no one could have expected, especially I didn't expect, which is always when WWE, I feel, is at their best, is when you least expect, like when someone like Matthew or I can't book it correctly, that's where you know that there's some money and it's enjoyment. It sucks you back in. I'll always watch because I love the product and I love the sport. But like I'm more enjoyed when I'm faked out. You know what I mean? And it makes sense. But what I didn't understand is long-winded. Cody came out. He won the Royal Rumble 2 years in a row, unprecedented since Stone Cold Steve Austin 20-odd years ago. He came out. Everyone and their mother thought he was going to challenge Roman Reigns. I mean, after the Royal Rumble, he pointed right up to the skybox and said, "I choose you." So that was a done deal. But then Punk went down injured, unforeseen, and they rewrote some plans. What none of us saw coming was, "I want to face you, but not at WrestleMania." And I was like, what the hell? And he said, "I've been getting counsel. I've been speaking to legends, family, friends. And this man, Roman, who I spoke with, very well." As soon as he said this man, I mean, unless you're living under one, you knew it was The Rock. And boom, sure as shit, The Rock comes out. And it's The Rock. The guy is up there with Stone Cold Steve Austin as one of the absolute greatest. I mean, no denying it. He's
No.
also the most recognizable man on the planet Earth currently, right now. Currently, the most recognizable, the highest paid, yada, yada, yada. He comes out, he got a massive ovation, as you would if you're at a live event not expecting The Rock. So, I mean, the shock and awe of The Rock there is going to just hit that factor of nostalgia and you're going to just like freak out. But then it turned slowly, like almost instantly.
I was gonna say, there wasn't anything slow about this turn.
No, I mean, it was like by the time he had got to the ring, your starry eyes had already faded and you were like, hold on, wait a minute, where's this going? And when Cody said, "I'm stepping aside for The Rock," essentially, the fans shit all over it. And they were like, what the hell? And, listeners' reason being is Cody Rhodes is the wrestler that has been focused on for 2+ years. From the audience's POV. You've been on his journey to finish his story. And there have been twists and turns, but like it's so out of character the way that segment was written that Cody would step aside. And that's why people turned on it. I turned on it. A lot of people turned on it.
I mean, we I think we spent almost the entire show last week
We
talking
did.
about, right? So to say that people were upset would be accurate.
A mild statement. Yeah.
And like it's, leading up. So then you get this press conference where effectively Roman comes out and says it's not Cody's decision anymore who he's going to face. I'm choosing, and I'm going to face The Rock at WrestleMania.
Right. Which makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, fair, right? So Seth Rollins isn't happy about it because he's being relegated to the second champion, which I will point out. Seth is one of the few people who has actually beaten Roman that Roman has never got the win back on.
And they know that. And I think that's the reason all four of them were out there.
Yeah.
Is
like,
even
I think
though,
it's, yeah, I think it's funny that Roman is denigrating Seth and his championship when ultimately just because Roman beat all of the people doesn't mean that he can beat Seth. And it doesn't mean that Seth is going to go for Roman's championship anytime soon when he's got his own to worry about. Seth knows he's better than Roman, but he doesn't know if he's better than Cody. Anyway, so Rock comes out, Roman comes out, vice versa.
Yeah. And they do this whole history of the bloodline with their family tree. And this is how brilliant this is, whether it's accident or, real. The brilliant thing is The Rock shows this graphic about the legacy of the Anoa'i family, which is one of the most historic families in all of wrestling in every promotion throughout its inception. And he thought, or at least his character thought, that he was going to get like a rousing like seal of approval, and the people in attendance just shit all over it. Like no one cared. It looked like you were at high school and a boring lecture from a history teacher that you just didn't care about. And you could slowly see that. I'm like, oh shit, he's going to flip the switch. And you had everyone on stage. Cody was announced to come, and you figured Cody's music would hit. You'd get the big, pop and all that.
No, carry on.
So you figured you'd get
so many thoughts about this.
Yeah, and I'll let you get. You figured you'd get the big pop. You want Cody's music to hit, right? You want to get that pop. Everyone else got it, but all you heard was a mic being smacked backstage. And they did this like it wasn't at a table, which I loved. I loved the stage atmosphere. They gave this a larger-than-life atmosphere. But you heard this. He goes, "This is absolutely bullshit." And
no. He said bull crap. And
he said bullshit.
Did he say? I thought he said bull crap.
Oh, anyway, dude, they swore the whole press conference. He said bullshit.
They did. There was a couple of things where Seth was saying bull crap, and I was thinking. Anyway,
bull crap once, but anyways, Cody came out and said this is bullshit, and he's like, "Wow." He's like, "I'm sitting here listening." He's like, Roman, I get you're the champ, I get you're the tribal chief, but where do you get off, making the match? Where do you get off with the power? Because you don't have that power. I have it. I won the Royal Rumble, and what I loved was this was basically like a real life situation where Cody had a decision on SmackDown. Maybe in the moment he felt one way, but then he thought about it, reflected, and next week he felt differently. So he was like, you know what? I've made my decision. Enough of this. He's like, Rock, we've had some good conversations. I've had other conversations, but I'm facing Roman. And so what it did from a character point of view was shit all over, the two Titans who essentially thought this is their show. And it was brilliantly laid out. Because The Rock, every word he said, if you're a longtime wrestling fan, was done to get under your skin before Cody came out. He said wrestling only has one royal family. It's the first words of Cody's fucking song when he comes out. It's the intro to Cody's song. It says wrestling has more than one royal family because Cody gives respect to the Flairs and, all the other families. The Rock saying the Anoa'i family is the only one. So that was that part. And then he went into his old bag of tricks where he said, if you don't think Rock versus Roman is the greatest WrestleMania of all time, well, quite frankly, it doesn't matter what you think. So he went back to his gimmick. And then he was like the Cody Crybabies. Like all of this is so brilliant. But what you couldn't have foreseen was how it went down when Cody got on stage. And they just played it to a T, where Roman was like, nah, man, you had your shot. You were at the end of the line. You had it. Last year, it was your moment. That was what's supposed to happen. You didn't capitalize. I'm on to bigger things, which makes sense for Roman's character, who wants to see a repeat.
Yeah.
And then when Roman said Dusty, he says, no, you're irrelevant, just like your dad. And that was when Cody was like, okay, you invoke my dad and talk about my family. Let's talk about yours. And then he brought up the High Chief and Roman's grandfather, which again was the top of the tree. And they were simulating that with their, blood bond handshake. And Cody said they'd be ashamed of you. And Roman just dropped the mic. He had no retort, but The Rock stepped forward. And The Rock looked pissed. But people, he's an actor. He's supposed to be pissed.
So, the thing is that, all right. So, carry on, because I'm trying not to tangent at the moment.
Oh no, dude, don't worry. I'm almost done. So, The Rock looked pissed. It blurred the lines. It looked real. But then, the icing on the cake was he slapped the shit out of Cody really fast. And The Rock's not a slouch. That would hurt. Mm-hmm. So then they had the pull apart, and you had Triple H there. You had all the authority there. And fucking Seth comes around and goes, you can't do anything you want just because you're on the board. It's bullshit. I ain't standing for this. And they told him to go away. And he's like, nah, fuck this. Everyone just started dropping bombs. And they got pulled apart, and the conference was over, which was great. And you were left with more questions than you started with. But they did it in such a way that you were satisfied. Mm-hmm. They made you want more. And this is how WrestleMania should be built.
So so many thoughts.
Yep, go ahead.
When Cody first stepped aside, you and I were both angry at WWE, and I'm someone who again is at best casual viewer. We were angry at the WWE.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
We have then spent the majority of that last 2 weeks talking about this.
Correct.
And and fantasy booking it and saying, like, if this is if that's if The Rock just came back because he's on the board, he wants to save this, and he's doing this to take eyes off of the Vince McMahon's legal scandal,
right?
Which is totally working. Which is totally working, and which is totally working, and I think that we're so wired into everything when it comes to wrestling that you're like, well, this is what's happening outside, this is what the story is, never shall the story in real life meet. And then all of a sudden we're watching real life Dwayne Johnson muscle his way in. I want to be in WrestleMania 40. I'm the big star. I can save it. This is how we can do it in the story. And you're watching this happen, and you're like, this is shit. Cody's been on this journey. I don't watch wrestling, or WWE, but I am invested in Cody. He needs to finish his story. What the actual fuck?
Right.
And then it goes to SmackDown, and Cody looks like he's about to go challenge Seth, and he doesn't quite get his answer out. And then Drew comes in and stops Cody's answer. And all the while we're wondering, like,
what the hell's going on?
Like, the fan backlash is so anti-Rock right now, and Cody was already a very popular and very organically popular babyface hero.
Correct.
After that SmackDown, people who didn't know about him knew about this situation.
Exactly. This made him a god.
Yeah,
like Matthew said.
I was talking to my wife about it, and I said, so here, what do you think about this? And even she said that sounds stupid.
Right.
And I was like, right. I said, but here they go. They're going to throw away all of their storytelling that they've done just for this one thing. And I said, which people do want, and it will make money. It's just not, I was saying it's not the right time for it.
They didn't, though. They were smart.
And that's the thing. So we get to this press conference, and it's, you've been creeping in, and all of a sudden, like, are we being worked?
Definitely
is Triple H realizing that he can blur the lines a bit.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's like the quote leaks that The Rock burst his way onto the scene.
Mm-hmm.
How, was that a work or
Agreed.
was it true? And Triple H has pivoted everything in the last week and a half.
I think there's a
I-
combination of things.
So I actually think right from the beginning, it was a work. I think that
Okay.
so it could very
But
well have been.
couldn't have anticipated
I
the
don't.
negative reaction
I
The
don't.
Rock was going to get.
I don't think they anticipated how well it was going to work. I think that they were going to say, let's try this. We'll have The Rock come back. He'll,
Yeah.
Because it builds a story and it keeps things, interesting.
Right.
I don't think they expected it to go as well as it did. I think that's why we got the press conference.
Exactly.
I think, right? Like, I think that there's a lot of things that happened out of sync. Like, they almost needed to have a solid 20 minutes of build up where they could have this happen, have it on YouTube so people can watch it.
Yeah. I mean, they were so smart. But like what I think happened, to be honest, is I think only very, very few, the people who were on the stage last night, were the only ones in the know of this backstage. Because if you read the reports from SmackDown between, people who were there and also colleagues, they said Cody looked somber last week before he went out. They talked to him. They said he truly looked somber. He looked saddened. Like, he respects The Rock, but he looks saddened.
I agree. Like,
I agree too.
I think that I wouldn't at this point. I wouldn't put it past the Triple H for saying, "Hey, this is what we're gonna do. This is what's gonna happen. But I need you to go out here, be sad. This is what's gonna happen. There's going to be a handful of people that are going to know what's going on.
Exactly.
But for the most part, like, especially when Cody tweeted in the middle of a show, guys, trust me. Like,
right,
like
with
that.
us type of
deal. That's when I started to think, holy shit, I'm being worked and I fucking love it. Like,
me too.
When was the last time? Like, you often say that I can call this and we can catch what's being booked.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll give you an example. NXT Vengeance Day that just happened last Sunday. Carmelo Hayes finally turned on Trick Williams. Matthew and I are big fans of that. Now, everyone and their mother knew the turn was coming, but they didn't know how the turn was coming. Again, look at Matthew and my text during what's it called? I called it exact. Matthew's like, oh no, they're going to lose the Dusty Cup and Carmelo's going to get mad and turn on Trick and cost him the title. I said, no. I said, Ilya's going to beat Trick clean by hook or by crook, and then Carmelo's going to turn on him. And he's like, why would he do that? I was like, because Carmelo is going to end up being so pissed off that he vouched for him, stood by him, and still Trick came up short. It has more impact than hitting him when he was down. And sure as shit, it went down that way. Now, I'm fine with it, and it's cool. But something like this, my school of thought is, they have had a framework for what they were going to do. But I also was like, damn, I should have paid attention a little more. Like, when The Rock got introduced as part of the board, they have been saying that WWE is looking to bring more UFC style real life into their drama going forward and their stories. But it went over everyone's head. So as much as I would love to give Triple H the credit because I think he's a mastermind, I really think this whole part was a push by The Rock, Dana White, TKO, just to do it. Because the way it was done was so anti-WWE. Because WWE forever under Vince McMahon would always stick with an unpopular decision and say, listen, we're going to stay. The audience will come around to our way. We know what's best. This is a total different pivot from that. If this was Vince McMahon, he'd stick with The Rock getting booed, still trying to be a babyface, still pushing Cody out, and having Roman versus Rock with the fans crapping on it. This regime is so smart that they're like, that's not going to work. So what can we do different? And it's a work shoot. I don't think The Rock is pissed at all. I think The Rock is
Oh
so
God, no.
down for
As
this
as
and
soon as
pitched it.
soon as you saw his interview come out where he says in third person, well, The Rock says this and calls him the Cody Crybabies.
Yeah,
That was when I was like, fuck me, I've been worked. And
yeah.
And again, not mad about this at all.
And
Like
we've talked about it. What would happen, Alex, let's say this year, with no Rock involvement? It's been 2 years of Cody trying to finish his story. He beats Roman clean at Mania this year. Let's say The Rock never came back. He finally gets it. He beats all the odds. How long does the audience stay happy with Cody? Not very long, and you know it.
Yeah.
But this way, the way they're doing it now,
I don't even care if Cody wins at this point at Mania.
right? This way, he's longevity.
Exactly.
Sure.
So Cody can lose at Mania due to rock-based interference,
Mm-hmm.
and then Roman can finally beat the other record he's trying to beat.
Right.
But sure, and then Cody comes back after that, finally beats him clean, maybe wins the Rumble for the third time in a row, beat yada yada yada. Maybe
I don't think Roman's going to beat Hogan's record. I think
I
it's over.
I don't think he is either. I think like of all of the records that they're trying to beat, he's had it long enough now that it's that they can claim, in this era, right? I don't think he's going to beat Hogan's record.
No.
And I think Gunther's time is coming to an end as Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, but with who? Not Jey Uso though. I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think
maybe.
I think he might have it a bit longer than they were expecting, because I think he was going to lose to Brock at Mania.
Oh, I agree.
So I think he might retain for a bit longer, but I don't think it's going to. I think once they built up a credible challenger for him again, that's when he's going to lose it. But
yeah,
I think that you can have Cody versus the Bloodline again for the next little bit. And I think what's cool about this is that now you've got corporate Dwayne Johnson, corporate Rock, whatever you want. You can rehash the Steve Austin,
right,
like that style of story again. You can rehash that with the Rock as the villain.
Well, they did it so brilliantly too that they ended the entire night. Planned, of course, but there was also more videos that came out after that went off the air. But he walked by Triple H while he was giving an interview with Jackie Redmond, and Triple H was just kind of like, yeah, I'm surprised, giving an honest interview. And then The Rock's like, it's bullshit is what it is. And he's like, what? He's like, it's bullshit. He was talking shit about our family. And he's like, come on, Rock, you were out of line. He's like, no, I'm not out of line. Fix it. If you don't fix it, I will. I'll slap the fucking teeth off his mouth. And then what you didn't hear, because for some weird reason they bleeped it out, either Roman or Rock said to Triple H, you're lucky you're retired. And then The Rock walks away and Triple H was like, yeah, and you're supposed to be. So now you've brought both authorities into it. And people know in real life that, unfortunately, The Rock is higher on the totem pole than Triple H, because he's on the board. Triple H is creative. So now you're going to have that dynamic where maybe you have Triple H in favor of Cody and Rock in favor of Roman, with the bloodline even stronger.
But isn't Randy Orton Triple H's protege? Right?
Well, yeah, he was.
So, I mean, you could have Randy Orton or even Seth step in to defend Triple H because Triple H can't do it anymore.
Right.
Because they're already leaning into, I hate saying real life, because, yes, we're all well aware that wrestling is scripted, but it's a no different than a movie, right? Like,
correct.
Of course a movie's scripted. It's just it's playing out live, the stunts are live, etc. They're pulling in the backstage stuff into an actual real story. So now you can play into the Triple H, like, I can't get in the ring because my health will not let me, physically doesn't do it. but you can have Randy say, look, regardless of what's going on, you always looked out for me. I'll owe you. You can owe me a favor. I'll do this, and then you can give me a title shot against someone later
You
on.
could have anything at this point. They've essentially wiped a clean slate.
You could have Drew, for fuck's sake, say, hey, Hunter, I'll act as your proxy. And you can even have him say this on screen.
Mm-hmm.
I'll act as your proxy. And then all of a sudden I'll act as your proxy. I'll defend you. So then you got Drew McIntyre versus whomever.
Right now, you have so many possibilities. But the one thing I really enjoyed the most was including Seth last night, because he has been the odd man out for months. And even though you had him in a point where Roman was like pissing on him, he still was legitimately out there and fighting back. He's in the mix. And trust me, it does more help for Seth what was last night than a throwaway program. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Well, and the thing is, if Seth is legitimately rehabbing an injury, this is the way to keep him relevant. It's the way to keep, right? Because you can't have Cody go against, I don't want to say random nobodies, because Shinsuke Nakamura is not a random nobody. But unless you're going to have them put Cody through a gauntlet of, hey, you got to fight this person, otherwise we're not going to face you. You got to go through the entire bloodline and beat us or whatever.
Right.
I don't care what they're going to do
on WWE, AEW.
Exactly.
Like, what do wrestling fans always bitch about? We've seen everything.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen nothing like what we saw last night.
No,
that was the first time ever. And in all of our booking scenarios a week ago, we didn't even foresee that. Like, none of that came out. That's how brilliant it is.
And I think that's what's so exciting about it. Now,
yeah,
has it got me watching the Raw and SmackDown live? No. I'm still catching up on YouTube. Like, I'm still watching clips and stuff. But am I going to watch WrestleMania live? Realistically, probably not, because I don't want to. I can't seem to get WWE Network to work for me, so I'll probably end up, if I wanted to watch it, I'd have to pay for it.
Okay.
So I'm sure there's a way to do it one way or another, using a VPN, if I finally sit down and figure it out, and I've got a couple of months to do that.
Yeah.
That said, I'm more likely to want to watch the show all the way through again, right?
Of course.
I'm more likely to want to watch the 2 nights in a row. Like, this time last year, I was invested in the Bloodline because, I was invested in Sami Zayn, right? Like, I was catching up on Sami Zayn. I was getting into what was happening with him and KO.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things where all of a sudden I'm interested in the story and I want to know what's happening. And yet I don't feel the need to watch, which is the strangest feeling.
You'll get there, but I mean...
Oh, I'm fully aware I'll get that. And I think with the Netflix deal, it is going to make it a lot easier to watch.
Definitely.
For a lot of people. I can DVR both shows. I don't. And honestly, it's because I don't have a huge amount of time to dedicate to watching wrestling in run of a day anyway. So I'm like, well, I'll watch it. I'll catch it up on YouTube, and I'm fine with that. But this kind of stuff where it's blending everything is really making me second guess my priorities and what I'm watching at the moment.
This is so different, and this was so needed. Like, they talk about eras in wrestling. You had the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression, the Golden Era, the New Era. You had, John Cena's era. This will be like the TKO era because it's so different. Last night, look at it like if this was a comic book, that was number one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think what we're seeing right now is the beginning of whatever the new era is going to be.
Exactly. And I think it's going to be more of a veer away from, the PG content. Obviously, they were dropping F-bombs the whole fucking conference.
My thought on that is that it it helps you, the audience, think this isn't planned, right?
Right.
Because they know that they don't drop F-bombs. It's dang or dang it and yada yada yada. Whereas because it's on YouTube, they don't have to worry about a sponsor. They still bleep the occasional thing, but for the most part, they haven't got to worry about a sponsor because it's on YouTube. It's not like it's on Peacock where they can drop an F-bomb here or there.
Well, it was on Peacock. That's what I watched.
Oh,
it on.
was it? Interesting.
Yeah. But here's what I thought was brilliant too, that they put it on YouTube. I mean, basically it was a mini PLE last night, the way they produced it and all the effort they put in. It was unbelievable. Like, if they want to garner support for WrestleMania, they've done it. They were smart enough to do it. This is bigger than, Roman spearing The Rock on a red carpet in the planned segment. This is like, holy crap, is it real? Is it not? I would say it's both. And that's the brilliance, is even I can't figure out which parts are planned and fake. I can't.
Yeah. I think that's what's so good, is that we don't know what's going on. Like, we're finally at a stage right now where you and I can fantasy book and the entire show from here out until WrestleMania.
Right.
And we're going to be completely wrong. We could do it 4 or 5 different times and we could be completely wrong. We might be right.
I told Matthew after last night and the way it was framed, and this is not my WWE mind. It was just the whole night kept calling back to WrestleMania 1 at Madison Square Garden. Every clip was WrestleMania 1 and the tag match. No other WrestleManias were highlighted or mentioned. And when Triple H came out right before the scrum, he talked all about WrestleMania 1. I think that is to set the framework for the first time in 40 years. You're going to have a mega event on night 1. I think it is going to be Rock and Roman versus Cody and Seth. The 4 of them in the ring together. And what that will do is, 1, save The Rock from being in the ring full time on the first night. 2, help Seth a little bit and take some, whatever. Maybe Damian Priest cashes in on Seth after the tag match.
Yeah, because we have been saying how Seth Seth is great, but he's going to need protecting to some extent. Right?
Yeah, like, I don't think he's ready to go at all.
No, and we've been saying that for quite a while at this point.
Yeah, and I think last night proved it. So you also keep Seth in the mix. But honestly, I would believe the stipulation will be, okay, me and my cousin versus you guys. And if you win, you get your main event. That will be night 2. That's the way I see it. You have to set up the carrot and the stick. Like right now, Triple H came out defiantly on all socials and said, nope, this is the main event. It has been called Roman versus Cody, with no rebuttal from The Rock. You got to know after last night, there's a rebuttal. It is that main event from now till WrestleMania is probably going to morph a couple times to keep you guessing. Ultimately, I think you will get Roman versus Cody, but it's going to morph to keep you guessing. And I do say The Rock will be the one to cost Roman on night 2. He will aid Cody. It'll be a shock, but he will, because I say Rock gets pinned in the tag match night 1 to lose. So Roman has to face Cody.
I think that would make sense to me. I can see that.
Exactly.
I have been saying there's no way you can have Roman wrestle twice on the weekend and not have Cody do the same thing.
Exactly. But Cody would wrestle 5 times. That's the way he is.
And that's just like, I know Cody the man would do it 5 times, but right, like, because that's who he is. Like you said, the character isn't going to want to win the belt off a tired Roman if he's fought The Rock the night before.
Agreed. But that's the excitement, that we're excited off of a tag match, which any other time, if they were like, oh, WrestleMania's main event will be a tag match, you'd be like, what the fuck? But because of this is so spectacular. It can absolutely lead night 1. Absolutely. Unfortunately, it pushes Rhea and Becky out
I
off
I
the main
think
event, but
yeah. So I think the problem is that no matter what happens right now, Rhea's going to get the main event at Elimination Chamber because it's Australia,
of
and
course,
she could absolutely carry a main event. She is going to beat Nia Jax. I don't think there's any doubt in that. I think Rhea Becky is going to be a solid match, but I don't think it's. I think it's going to be the penultimate match on whatever night it's on.
right. It'll be
And
the secondary match
yeah,
before the main event.
and I think you're
Agreed.
going to get Gunther as the secondary match on the other on night 2.
Yeah, probably. The only thing that after last night
I kind of
doesn't
hope
satisfy.
I really hope that Bailey gets the second night though, like the penultimate match. I really hope. I don't see any world in which Roman Reigns isn't the last man
Of
fighting.
course.
Right, he's always going to be the main event of night 2.
Yeah.
Unless you have Rock and Roman versus Cody and Seth early, I don't see any way in which you're going to have I can't see that not being a main event, but there's still 9 months to go. Maybe they do the tag match at Elimination Chamber.
You mean 9 weeks?
Yeah, I said 9 months.
Yeah, I was like, holy crap, dude, that's a long build. But no, I mean, the only thing is, again, it created the biggest buzz that WWE has seen in easily 25 years since Austin was around. It does hold
that thought. I'm going to cut this out. So it's 41. Matthew just said, I would have hopped on if you'd have seen the message.
Oh, I didn't. I'm away from my phone.
No, he literally just sent it now. Do you want to bring him in for the last 15?
Yeah, bring him on. Yeah, bring him on.
Hello, sir.
Hey.
So, full context, we are actually still recording, so I'm going to cut a chunk of this middle bit out. I think
absolutely not. Are you kidding me? I got the hat tag, and you're going to cut out my clearing house?
Oh no,
absolutely not. Here we are.
We'll leave.
No,
we'll
we're
leave
talking
this bit
about
in.
the
We're just going to cut.
nonsense before you came on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
what's this nonsense? I can talk nonsense. I don't just have to talk pro wrestling.
No.
It's pro wrestling.
It's pro wrestling nonsense.
I love it.
So we have been chatting for the last. The recording time says 46 minutes, but I think the listeners are going to have about 30 minutes of us talking based on the fact that once you said you were free, we kind of immediately stopped. So we have to recap you, and this bit I'll cut out because we don't need to have the same chat twice. We've given our thoughts on the press. We recapped the press conference, Cody's journey. We've given our thoughts on what's going on. I have said a few times that it's surprised the shit out of me that I've surprised in a good way that we've been worked, in that I think a lot more of this is planned than initially thought. I think that the reaction was a lot more vitriolic than the WWE expected. So whilst it was all planned, they still had to pivot a bit because the fans were much more invested. I think that it's genius of Triple H to blend reality and kayfabe, like to really play the audience.
But I think, I was saying, Matthew,
is anybody surprised?
Oh, I was.
Go ahead.
I mean, we booked WrestleMania after SmackDown with Cody stepping aside last week. We booked it like 6 ways from Sunday in every possible scenario. This never came up. And that's why I'm such a huge fan, because I never foresaw this. But as much as I would like to give all the credit to Triple H, I don't think I can. I think this is Triple H and The Rock's brainchild. I think this is a TKO pushed mandate. They've been saying, about a month ago that we're going to start incorporating more realism into our storylines going forward. We want to, make it feel a little bit more like what UFC does. And it went over people's heads. But that's exactly what they did last night. They blended it so well that my phone was blowing up from people who are casual and diehards going, did you see The Rock? Holy crap, dude. He was so pissed off. I can't believe it. I'm like, dude, he's an actor.
He's an actor.
He did it perfectly.
Like, people don't rate him much. Like, people don't rate him much as an actor, but at the same time, he's a great character, man. He knows the character that he was playing there. And
but that's it.
Like, once it started, I'm
He's
like,
been playing this character for 30 years now.
Exactly.
Like, he knows how to play the character.
Like, at a certain point, I'm watching, I'm like, he's right. At this point, Cody's just called out his grandfather. The Rock is going to drop.
Oh, yeah.
The Rock says, but he's going to drop the third person and get, quote, angry. And then you're going to see corporate heel Rock all of a sudden come out. And I was like, holy shit. Again, I've said before, I'm a casual viewer.
Alex, you're so invested.
But I'm
more
invested
in this than any WWE storyline ever.
I agree.
They did their job.
Yep.
They did their job.
Am I going to watch the SmackDown and Raw? Probably not. But I'm sure as fuck going to be giving them engagement.
You're going to look for the clips.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And I think like it's whoever thought of this plan, however it came about, it's absolute genius. It's
genius.
Genius.
Like this is even better than last year. Like, this is genius.
It is. Like, and I said to Joe, like, I don't even know if I care if Cody finishes his story this year, because if they can continue to play this out long term,
they could go another year now.
You could go another year.
Another year.
Like,
absolutely.
You know,
we're back in the second inning.
Yeah, have Cody.
Yeah, wait.
Number one and
tell me at what point we start recording again.
Oh, we're already going to start. Like, at a certain point, I'm gonna just try and blend it. So it's going to take a lot longer to edit.
I'm so sorry for you, Alex.
That's fine. Now, I honestly, we were going to.
Are you still snowed in? Do you have anything else to do?
Oh God, yeah, I can get out. I was able to get out Monday. Yeah. My arms are only just starting to recover though, but
I bet you're big and swole though. I bet you're good and swole.
Yeah, mini Rock here. So jokes aside, I actually start lifting weights every in the summer.
You.
No. I only lift weights in the summer so I can get ready for the winter to shovel. The last 2 winters I had been doing it. I'm like, I'm getting my winter body ready. And the snow.
This is an adult.
Mm-hmm.
An adult who understands that fitness is not about the show. It's not about the form. It's about the function.
Right.
So,
but
I'm an idiot. I'm in the gym lifting weights every other day.
Yeah, no. So this year I didn't bother doing that. Because the last 2 winters have been nothing. I don't need to worry about this. And I just didn't. And after the 9th time shoveling a metric ton of snow, I'm like, fuck. I really should have spent the summer lifting weights just so this didn't hurt so much. Because you don't have to do a lot to make a difference, but you've got to do something, and I did nothing. Speaking of doing something from nothing, however,
here we go.
I don't even know where I was going with that transition. I was kind of hoping that one of you would jump in, but
here's the beauty of it. They didn't go from nothing to something. They went from something to something so much better. And that is, I remember, dear listeners, and maybe you're a reader too. I hope you've been reading Crushing from IDW. Great book. I hear it's fantastic. So the thing about it though is like in our group chat with the three of us, with the Jam group chat, we were going back and forth, and as mad as we were completely hooked, and the great thing about pro wrestling is there is a point in pro wrestling, and you hear it said time and time again, as long as you're getting noise, you have a chance, right? Indifference is the death of a storyline. Indifference, silence is the death of a character. There's nothing scarier for a performer than silence. We were all so mad, and people's outrage made us care so much more for Cody than if he had come out at first and said, Roman Reigns, I choose you. And we got this very natural linear thing, and we were solid a week ago. And then we were going to be like, well, crap, we have 2 months. So now they're gonna artificially have to put barriers in place, and we would have all been complaining, man, maybe the Royal Rumble should be in February or early March.
It's funny. I was thinking that, like, already, but why do they have Elimination Chamber between the Rumble? They should do Elimination Chamber, Rumble, and then Mania.
I mean, as I said to Alex,
the
hardest thing to do
16 more TV shows.
And that's
the hardest thing to do is please a wrestling fan, because most of us cry, oh, we've seen it before. We've already seen this. This is a rehash of this. This is this.
Well, how many people were saying about how they're trying to recreate Daniel Bryan's story?
Exactly.
I'm sure that
it's better.
Yeah, I agree. I'm sure
already better.
Like, they're influenced by what happened to Daniel Bryan in the very organic way he got added to the main event. But the difference is, this was planned. They're controlling it as best they can. But I think what happened is that
the other difference is Daniel Bryan in real life. Sorry, Matthew. Daniel Bryan in real life, the machine, the creative, did not see value in him at the top. That was very, very
not as the main eventer.
Yeah. Right. They did not see him in that spot. The fans pushing the way they did forced them. So that was unique, but it was a reluctant force. Like, they weren't happy with it. And as you saw,
same with Punk.
Right.
Same with Punk.
With
Cody, the pipe bomb, all of a sudden they pivot, put the title on him in 2011, right? It's
right.
The fans got in there. But you're right, Joe. This is not apples to apples.
No, Cody is the guy since he came back, despite the throne breaking and all that. Cody's the guy, but I'm sure it's been a struggle on how to keep him so red hot for so long. Like, two things happened, like,
and
Cody,
yet they've done
the best thing ever. Yeah, but the two things that happened to him was him getting injured and out for 9 months was a godsend, because he would have been bland as shit by the time he got to Mania with Roman last year.
I agree.
Yep.
So
I think that Cody not only being injured, but doing the last match with that horrific pec injury.
Right.
Like, you see that
legendary status.
You're like, what the hell happened to him? Oh, he tore his pec, but he refused to not go out there. And then, I mean, yes, Seth is a safe worker 99% of the time.
He's one of the safest.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, he made a mistake and people still ride him for it. But the fact that that's the last mistake I recall Seth making, or the last mistake people complain about, shit, I made 4 mistakes at work today. No one's riding my ass.
I won't even tell you about the mistake I made at work that almost got me fired today. But I mean, Alex, you made an excellent point, because, and Joe, you'll, as a longtime WWE watcher, I think you'll agree with me. I hope you'll agree with me. Although when we disagree, it's also kind of fun. But the thing about this is, you mentioned something that WWE in the past has been very reluctant to acknowledge, and that is continuity. Now, in the past, there have been reports, there have been perceptions, and I don't know how accurate they aren't, but it's easy to see why, where it has felt like WWE has refused to learn from past mistakes and refused to incorporate past lessons from past storylines. I think, Alex, you're 100% on the money. They are pulling from the Daniel Bryan saga of how to pivot, how much of this was a pivot. They are pulling from the corporation storyline of the late 90s. They are pulling from the authority storyline of 2013, 14, and 15. They are pulling from all these different eras now of storytelling and saying, hey, remember when we did this? Let's take an ingredient here and put it in. Let's remember when this happened. Let's take an ingredient here and put it in. And they're actually utilizing the storytelling lessons of the past, and they are appreciative of the long-term memory of their fan base that we're going to catch it. And we're going to be excited by it. And they are utilizing continuity.
I agree. And I think what's so cool about that is it opens up so many new possibilities. Like, if you can, even if Cody wins at WrestleMania, and there's no reason to say he will at this point, because you could still again,
Sure.
pull the time out. You could then pivot into another authority type invasion NWO angle.
Cody versus Rock. It's Cody versus Seth.
But
it's
you
Cody versus Priest. Who knows?
And you can have you can have, Triple H obviously can't go anymore, but he can have a stand-in,
an authority figure.
Right, he can be an authority figure, but maybe he can even be a face authority figure, and have someone, have heels take advantage of him and say, hey, I'll fight your battle for you if you give me if you put a title shot in for me against whoever the current champion is. You can have them almost blur that again.
But what this
keep in mind too, like we've had McMahon versus McMahon in the past. Is Rock versus Triple H? Are we going to get to a point where it's Cody versus Roman and Rock is in Roman's corner and Triple H is in Cody's corner? Is that where we're going with this?
Here's the other thing. What if it's Cody versus Roman on night 2 and Triple H is not coming out for whatever reason? So Cody's out there alone and then the glass shatters.
You could have
I would love it. Anything is possible right now.
But here's what I also see, Matthew, like you were saying, continuity. That's something that people like you and I, who have been so invested in this since we were little, appreciate. It's giving back. This is the first time that I've ever also seen WWE acknowledge outside of their bubble what is said and what the criticism on their product
Absolutely.
is. They have never done it under McMahon. I told Alex before you jumped on, if Vince McMahon was still in charge, last night would have never happened. What would have happened you would have had a babyface Rock come out, challenge Roman, the crowd would have shit on it, and Vince McMahon still would have made the Rock a babyface, getting crapped on, and that would have been your main event. And why? Because Vince knew better than us. That was always the position, that even though I want to please the fans, I know better, and they'll come around. They don't tell or dictate to me. Where now our input is valued. It's almost like a POV. Like Cody is our POV into WWE. It's who we follow. It's our part of the story. And they know that. So they're rewarding us. And it's brilliant.
So what's fascinating about all this is, Joe, I think you're 100% right. I think that there is the incredible tightrope that they are doing right now, which is they are bringing in the hardcore fans, which are in general the hardest to please. They are appealing to the lapsed fans who maybe watch once a year, if that anymore, but used to watch it, during the Attitude Era or during Cena's run, when they were younger and they grew out of it, what have you. And they're also bringing in entertainment outlets and entertainment mainstream people who've never watched this product before, but are big fans of The Rock's movie career. Exactly. They are firing on all cylinders in a way that I've never seen in my lifetime, maybe not since 1999 and 2000 or 1985 with the Rock and Wrestling Connection, where they are very dangerously close here to truly becoming mainstream again with this angle and this storytelling. The other thing too is
go.
Yeah. I mean, just look at the amount of sponsorships they're getting, but look at the mainstream coverage to a wrestling angle. They are reporting on a wrestling angle like it's legitimate sports gossip or entertainment gossip
during Super Bowl weekend.
During a time of year where all eyes are on Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. My goodness sake. Find a bakery that doesn't have a cake topper with Taylor's face on it.
I haven't even looked, but now I feel like I need to.
You need to. It's an amazing trend jacking that's going on.
I think what's so brilliant about it is that because they're leaning into, hey, Rock's on the board, and now we're doing this. Like, I'm more convinced than ever that the leaks that we've gotten about this whole situation have been Triple H saying to staff of 3, hey, go tell the dirt sheets this. Hey, go tell the dirt sheets this.
So here's the thing. They're cracking the social media code. They're realizing that the audience is not just in the arena that they have to listen to.
It's
They
people
are
like
understanding that it's people like you. It's TikTok,
Right.
It's Twix. It is Instagram. It is short form content. They are figuring out that, and I think Logan Paul has been a huge game changer on some level in this and showing
Agreed.
them how this gets them results. The entertainment, pro wrestling especially, have been stuck in the bubble of ratings. What's the live audience? Well, the live audience isn't just watching your TV show. There is an interactive audience that's giving you feedback 24/7 now, not just during the hours of your programming. And they have figured it out, and they are now figuring out how to activate and engage and utilize that audience and give content to that segment of the audience who know they don't have the time to watch 7 hours of live programming a week. They're just going to watch the 20 minutes of highlights out of that programming. But that they are not discounting that audience, because that audience clicks on affiliates links. That audience still buys Pizza Hut. That audience will buy Slim Jim. That audience will buy Under Armour. That audience will give you, billions of minutes of views on Netflix next year. And they have figured out that this is the pivot. And they are doing this pivot better than any other pro wrestling company on the planet right now. It is extraordinary. We are at an inflection point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no company.
Sorry, I'm excited. I'm so excited.
Oh, so am I. No. If my mouth didn't hurt so much, I'd be even more. But they have touched.
Soldiering on, man.
I am. They've touched upon a way to garner interest everywhere that they've never been able to. They've always been popular. They've always been niche. They've always had mainstream breakthroughs. But this is a totally different level. They would have never been able to compete with the Super Bowl chatter. The whole thing, I've turned on the news. I'm seeing this everywhere reported like this was a real fight for, a purse.
Maybe it's Tyson? Being given. Maybe Tyson was the last time this happened at WrestleMania 14.
Yeah.
You can also just take us as an example. Our last 3 shows have been about this.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, and again, here's the thing. Here's what's so great about it this time, though. This time, the quote unquote celebrity rub is a homegrown talent in The Rock. And not only that, they're not cheering for The Rock. They're cheering for the guy that's there every single week, making every town. It's not the celebrity getting the rub out of giving the rub. It's the celebrity putting the spotlight and showcasing how beloved the homegrown star is. Cody Rhodes is about to ascend to Hulk Hogan-like pop culture levels of popular. It is and I never thought this would happen. Not during my lifetime. I thought we were too segmented an audience, too segmented a viewership base, that pro wrestling had kind of hit their ceiling now of what they'd be allowed to cross over into. And we are seeing right now in real time them pushing past those boundaries and those barriers. And if you are a fan of this genre and you are not fucking excited, please bleep my curse if you need to, Alex.
Fuck no.
You are not an actual fan of this industry. This is such an exciting time. And I thought last year was an exciting time.
I was talking to one of my friends at work. He is also responsible for getting me back into wrestling, but he's strictly AEW. He doesn't like WWE. He says that he doesn't like the way the programming is formatted. Like there's too much, not enough wrestling, too much everything else. Totally understand that. But he and I had the better part of an hour-long conversation about this exact topic yesterday. So
exactly,
it's pulling in.
It's working.
Lapsed fans. It's pulling in people It's like I said.
I got the same thing. I got 3 people today bringing this up to me who do not watch pro wrestling.
Exactly. It's how
I got people, and I'm not asking them; they're reaching out to me. It's incredible.
It's absolutely insane.
Yeah,
it's great.
I mean, this is hitting
and it will
crazy
help
levels.
and it will help the rest of the industry. This is the thing. When WWE is at its hottest, AEW benefits, MLW will benefit, TNA will benefit, assuming they don't go under in the next 6 months. And I really hope they don't. Shout out to RD Evans over there, who's a great guy that's behind the scenes. But like everybody, this is the tide that's going to raise all the ships in the industry. When AEW gets a big fat contract renewal with WBD, they're going to have this success of this WrestleMania to be a small contributing factor at the very least for them to also get a streaming deal and what have you. Like the Netflix deal, all of this is going to help it. And my God, we have needed this in the last couple weeks, us WWE fans. Let's be very frank. We have. The dark cloud was very real, and it's still very real. And yet here we are. The magic of the art is getting us to go, wow, look how excited we are again for what's happening within the product itself.
I think it goes to show how if Triple H is given free reign to do what he wants to do, regardless of how much of this is his own entirely original idea or not, but when other people in the WWE are given free reign to say, hey, why don't we explore this, do it this way? Why don't we do it this way? Like you said, Matthew, Logan Paul probably helping them understand the social media aspect of things probably wouldn't have happened 2 years ago. Right? Like,
no, and I think that this is a shining example of, I truly think this is the season where we see Triple H is hitting his stride as a creator, right? And like, but not only that, but you can tell behind the scenes, the creative team is in sync. The creative team is excited. The wrestlers are excited. If I was a wrestler right now and my contract was up and they just signed a $5 billion deal with Netflix, and they are going ahead and creating this much buzz against the Super Bowl on Super Bowl weekend, if you want to be anywhere else but WWE right now,
yeah, you're nuts.
Wow, I don't know what to say, man. Like this is the place to be, which it had not been for a couple of years, but this is the hot spot, and that's exciting, and that's it's so great. But this is, to your point, Alex, we are seeing Triple H without the governor on him. We are seeing him getting to really blossom as the head of creative right now and go in these new exciting directions for the company. I think you're absolutely right.
It's at the point now where I'm not entirely convinced Triple H will stay retired. Like, there's so many things happen. Like, I could see Triple H. I don't. He's
got
think,
a bad
like,
heart, Alex.
No, I know. Like,
I don't want him
know
to die in the ring.
Yeah,
I genuinely do not. But with everything that's happening, like, could he come back? Would he take a bump? Like, all of these.
The man's got a pacemaker.
Yeah,
he does. And while I'm not okay, so I'm not advocating he get in. I actually hope he doesn't get in the ring. But with all of the things that are happening right now, nothing seems out of the realm of possibility.
Hit a pedigree.
And
he might hit a pedigree on somebody.
I kind of hope he doesn't, because I think his knees are fucked too. Like, if you're going to be retired, stay retired. Like, play.
Everything about that man has fallen off. Like, he is a mess physically.
Right.
But like, more than anything else, it's the heart that's the danger. Because what if he gets zapped in the middle of the ring because he has an arrhythmia? Like, that's the scary thing. That's what that's what he's worried about.
And that's just like, he should absolutely not do what I was talking about. I don't imagine he'd ever.
Don't listen to Alex if you turn
on. If he's listening to this, and then B, if he decides to take medical advice from some dude on the internet, then he's a lot dumber than I give him credit for.
Nonsense. Let's hope he's listening to this, because he's got taste.
I'm not saying he doesn't have taste for listening. I'm saying if he takes my medical advice, he's a fool.
But I think
I'm not going to ignore that part. I do agree with that. I'm sorry, Alex.
I think all of creative in general is hitting its stride. I think Triple H is definitely at the helm, but I also think you can't discount that The Rock is now part of creative too. I really think he is.
Well, and
loosely,
Brian Gewirtz.
Like last night, the NOIE tree and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I think Rock had some serious input in that.
Was Jacob Fatu on that tree?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Probably. He's probably
I didn't
somewhere
see it
under his shoot name though.
Mm.
He's probably under his shoot name. But I mean, the thing about it too is it's been pretty well reported is that Brian Gewirtz, who used to be the head writer under Vince, he was Vince's number 2. He was head writer of Raw for many years, starting in 2003. Like Evolution, he was a big component of. Edge and Christian, he helped get over. Kurt Angle, he helped get over in 2000. So he is Rock's right-hand man because he works with him as a VP of $7. But anytime Rock comes back to wrestling, Brian is there and he is working specifically on the creative. He's essentially the writer assigned to anything The Rock touches. Everything goes through Brian. And Brian was absolutely there last night. And he even gave a great tweet today, just like, now the real fun begins. So even you can see like Brian, who has been out of the game and never been there without Vince McMahon over his shoulder, even he is revved up. And I do think he's absolutely influencing this particular storyline. I think we can thank Brian Gewirtz as being a major creative influence, who's not one of the regulars, right? He's not a regular member of the team, but he's so steeped in it that he doesn't come in like a novice. I mean, he worked on some amazing stuff. And his fingerprints are all over this. But that's who The Rock filters any creative ideas through, is Brian Gewirtz. Gewirtz will work with Triple H. He'll work with Bruce Pritchard. He'll work with any other writers involved. He'll work with Roman and Paul. Because, again, they all know Brian and they all trust Brian. And I think that's one of the things here. And you hear the wrestlers talking about it, that there has never been a more team mentality, a stronger team mentality than what we are being presented with. And I think you can see that at every level. They are trusting the writers more. They are trusting the talent more. They are trusting the production folks. There's such synergy, to use a corporate term, that it's creating great work. And it's not under fear of failure for one man. It is over love of the business and encouragement and getting a chance to prove something of how good you can do this and seeing the results. And that is why we are all reaping the benefits right now. And we have so much TV to go, guys. We still have like 7 weeks, like 14, 16, 17 programs plus Elimination Chamber to get through. How many more twists and turns are they going to throw at us right now? And, and the thing is, I don't know. There's a million of them. Because we still don't know what's going to happen at the end of the day here.
And I think that's what's so exciting.
It's going to change multiple times for the main event before we
probably
get the finalized.
Did you catch it changing at the press conference?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Like, so they're clearly
they literally changed the graphics.
Yeah. Like
so cool.
I can't wait to see what they're going to do.
Like in the background, so you have to pay attention to it.
Yep.
They didn't like make a big show of the graphic changing. It was just happening in the background. You saw Rock come out and Cody go in during the panel over CM Punk's shoulder. And I was like, oh, this is so freaking cool. They're letting the image speak for itself. And if you notice, you notice. It's tremendous. It is a more mature form of storytelling that we have seen. And this is the stuff that the Bloodline saga has shown works. Right? The Bloodline saga has changed the concept of the sophistication of storytelling will appeal to a pro wrestling audience. And we are seeing results of that in every segment now. And it's working beautifully.
I think what's also telling is how my feelings on Roman Reigns have switched from get the title off him, he's never around, who fucking cares about Roman Reigns, to holy shit, Roman Reigns. So
keep it for another year, Roman. Keep it for another year.
But that's just it. That's just like I have said that, and now that again, like in 6 months, and if he keeps it, I'll be pissed off if he's not showing up every once a month.
Of course he will.
But the thing is, right now, it doesn't matter. And no. And as long as they keep
the amazing thing,
cracks,
Alex. Is that part of the heel persona? isn't that part of why you want to boo him and why you don't like him?
Oh,
is
that's
because
just
he's being the part-timer and you're mad that he's not there, and so you boo him more when he is there.
And I
is
think
there a psychology at work there in terms of getting
absolutely.
the heel over?
And I think what helped me realize that is the amount of cracks that everyone's been making about Roman's schedule. That Roman's been acknowledging about the schedule. I'm like, oh, this is. I'm sure it's partly his contract, but it's also partly by design. You don't want to spoil a good thing. Joe, I saw you start to talk and then I cut you off.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agreed. Like Roman, it's part of his character, but let's also face it too. This is a guy who's been in remission twice. He is a company man. He's not choosing this schedule just because he doesn't want to work. If they told him work every pay-per-view,
taking care of himself,
he would. But right now, they've done it the right way. They've made him a special must-see, and they did it slowly, organically, because his first year, he was on every single show, every single event, like constantly. And then it tapered off. But also, Roman loves the business. What you're seeing right now is a main event scene with all people who love the business, not politicking, love the product, love what they do, and they're the best. And that's why it's a healthy locker room for once. It's not about, oh, I want the private jet, I want the spot, I want this, I want to hold this person down. No, it's about what can we do in every facet.
What kind of story can we tell
to make this better for all of us?
And you see, like, I know there's the rumors that Drew McIntyre hasn't signed his contract, and his contract is up at WrestleMania. Who knows, right? Yeah, it's very possible that Drew is sitting back going like, I signed my contract 6 months ago and I just didn't tell anybody because I want to use that in a future storyline. Who knows? But the thing about it is, all these top talents right now, if you're not in the main event scene, you still have something important going on.
Yeah.
And the last time that happened, where it felt like every single character on your screen had a personality, had a fully formed character, had a reason to be there and to be doing what they were doing, is probably the Attitude Era. Yep. Like it has been a really long time where when you look at every segment, from the Intercontinental Championship angle to LA Knight to Logan Paul and Kevin Owens to freaking Alpha Academy and Ivar Valhalla, right?
Yeah.
Go all the way up and down the card. There is a storyline happening at every component, and that means that you as a talent feel valued. And that doesn't mean that you don't want to keep climbing up, but it also means that you're not just sitting at catering waiting for 30 seconds, and you feel like you're in a creative tailspin and you have nothing to do. Whether you're the New Day, whether you're DIY, whether you are Logan Paul, whether you are Solo and Jimmy, whether you are Jay, whether like every single person right now is a fully formed character, and they have a reason to be doing what they're doing with who they're doing it with, which is, again, only going to make your locker room feel more like a team because they feel like what they're doing has value. So even though Drew McIntyre is not world champion, that man has been in more main event segments, beaten more people, gotten more buzz, is selling more merch. Like, if you think Drew McIntyre's unhappy because of his spot, I have a bridge to sell you. And yes, it is in Brooklyn. So like guys, like this is the rumors of like, oh, if people are unhappy because they're not at the top of the card, folks, everybody wants to make more money. Everybody wants to climb up the card, but that does not necessarily mean you are unhappy in your workplace. I am not the CEO of Penguin Random House. That does not mean I'm unhappy in my workplace. Would I like to someday climb the ladder? Absolutely. Does it mean that I'm miserable until I'm at the top spot? No. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing to keep in mind. A happy work environment makes for happy people regardless of where you are on the chain of command. And you are seeing a lot of very happy, excited performers right now. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No,
I'm not correcting you.
But
to your
jump off.
I'm so excited. I'm ranting. I'm sorry, guys.
No worries. I was gonna. I know for once, Drew is. I was going to say for once you have nothing to say, and no, I'm totally.
Oh, yeah, no, I need to take some meds and.
Yeah, like, no, I know you're up against it. I was gonna make or reiterate a point you had made earlier. You could easily have a stipulation match with Drew where it's career versus title, and you could have it close enough to when people think his contract is up that it could believably be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he could even say, "Oh, I haven't signed a new deal yet."
Yep.
Like FTR did the same thing
in 2011.
Yeah. Like FTR did the same thing when they said we haven't signed a new deal, and then all of a sudden it turns out they're staying in AEW, and it's like, what? You think we're not going to work you? Like, I think if Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler were in WWE right now, they'd be having a blast with what's going on.
I 1,000% agree with you.
Yeah, I think
look at the people who are coming back.
Yep. So that's a conversation for another day.
Indeed.
But
yeah, no, but I'm gonna drop off, guys. I love this. You guys continue it and close it out, and we'll
feel
chat
better,
later.
Joe.
Thanks, Matthew.
I hope those antibiotics are doing their thing for you, man. They give you some relief.
Man.
Yeah, I can't wake up again like I did yesterday and today. Like, oh my God, no, that was so painful. But I'm gonna go gargle now because I feel it.
Dude.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Later.
Later, Joe. So no, I think Drew in a retirement match would be fantastic. I do think Drew is heading into that main event picture with Seth. I think that is the feud. I don't know how much you and Joe touched on it earlier. I'm sure you went through a bajillion scenarios.
Yeah, we did. So we touched on there being again, the fact that there's so many different possibilities coming into Mania weekend.
All good possibilities.
Right, like you could have
good possibilities.
You could have the tag match of Rock and Roman versus Seth and Cody night one, and then you have, if Seth and Cody win, then Cody can have his main event the next night, and then all of a sudden you can have Damian Priest cashing in, and so many different things. I don't even know how much you've suggested to this that we've thought about, but I feel it would make more sense to have that tag match at Elimination Chamber, so then you could focus on Drew and the rest of the
only question
picture.
Is
how healthy is
the
Seth?
question is about Rock.
Yeah.
The question is, does Rock feel comfortable physically doing multiple matches in multiple months, or do you save him because it is the last time he had a lengthy WWE match, I think he tore some cartilage or he tore a muscle in his abdomen that he had to go get like healed up for several weeks and delayed a major production he was involved. And he's only 10 years older now. So there's a question to me of, do you risk something going wrong and there being an injury to Rock by having him in a match in Australia? Now, could he be a special referee for something in Australia? I don't know. Seth has come on and said his knee is maybe 4 weeks away from being totally healed. He said he turned a corner in rehab this week. It's feeling a lot better, but that he's probably got about 3-4 weeks before he's back up to 100%. And for a grade 2 MCL tear, I'm sure like millions of people, I looked it up, and they do say recovery time is about 6 weeks. So he has a shot to go into WrestleMania almost 100% if he holds back. Elimination Chamber's in 2 weeks. So again, I don't know that you risk further injury to Seth putting him in there. Or I don't something going wrong with Rock.
Yeah, no, I forget Seth has the.
Yeah, he'll make an appearance.
One, absolutely.
Yeah, he's got the injury. He's been so compelling without even being in the ring that you forget about it, right? It's one of those things. So that's my call. I think Rock will be there. I think he will make an appearance somehow. I just don't know in what capacity he will. Seth could make an appearance somehow. Does he do a run-in? Does he do, some? I don't know. Will he be there to go face to face with whoever wins the Elimination Chamber and is going to be his opponent at Mania. That's the other thing I like about the storytelling, Alex, is we're not getting all the answers at once, right?
Agreed.
We don't
Agreed.
know who's facing Seth. They're gonna give it to us over time so we can ingest each new piece of information without it getting lost, which is great storytelling. You know, I've learned in all the creative courses I've taken, you don't vomit dump exposition all in one go at the beginning. You've got to feed out that new information throughout the story and make it look like it's a motivated exposition, right?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't gotten to the exposition yet of who is going to face Seth. We don't know who Gunther is facing yet. We don't know what the tag titles pictures are going to look like at Mania yet. And they've got 7 weeks to feed out all this stuff. And they've already got enough tickets sold that they could literally wait until the week before, like they did with Rey and Dominic Mysterio last year. That match was not made official until the week before the event. We all saw it coming, but they didn't announce it. So I expect over 7 weeks, we're going to get a lot of announcements. We're going to get a lot of answers.
I agree.
We just got to take the ride.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's what's so much fun about it is that at this point, we're talking about it now, and there's still, like you said, 16, 17 episodes of this to come, plus whatever else they're going to drip feed us on social media.
Yep. And I think part of the question, the challenge right now is you have the fan base at such a fevered pitch, and you know it is not sustainable for 7 weeks to keep them at this kind of heightened intensity without burning everybody out by the time you get to Mania. Mm-hmm. So I expect we got to expect that there's going to be some dips in the storytelling. There's going to be not dips in terms of quality, but not every beat is a climax, right? You got to have, we're in act 2 right now, maybe even act 1. Well, you got to have a second act turning point. You got to have a setback. You've got to have a couple reversals right now before they bring you back up in terms of energy level. So the challenge, I think, for WWE is they're hitting such a high point so early on in the story that it's going to be interesting to see how they navigate the come down from the adrenaline high right now that I've clearly got, and a lot of fans do, while keeping the interest, but understanding that the interest is not going to be as intense necessarily for all 7 weeks leading up. There's going to have to be a lull a little bit to give us a moment to catch our breaths before the events themselves. So I'm very intrigued to see how that happens without it feeling like they're getting boring or we're just getting filler, right? As we talked about earlier. How do they navigate that? I'm intrigued to see the storytelling.
I think that's what's so exciting about it is that they've, at this point, I think we've all got faith that they'll be able to do it, but how are they going to keep your adrenaline high, like as a long-term invested fan, people like me interested enough to keep coming back and spend money on the PLE, however they're going to get my money, how are they going to keep me interested? How are they going to keep new fans interested? And then how are you going to keep all of these different characters hot without accidentally throwing something at us that, oh crap, that caught off someone's momentum and we didn't think about it. And then you've got the unknown of how are the fans going to react, because clearly they're far more passionate than we expected them to be about certain things. Like I don't think they realized how beloved Cody actually was up until that moment. And I think that's
a pleasant surprise to them.
Wasn't it? Like, it's a beautiful surprise. And like I was reading something early today about how like somebody was just so enamored with Cody Rhodes. And like, I don't even know who he is, but my kid loves this guy. And they met him and he was Cody Rhodes, the perfect gentleman, etc. So all of a sudden he's now starting to filter out into the more mainstream. Exactly, yeah. Like he's turning out into the mainstream again, or not again, but
if only he didn't have that absolutely hideous rednecky neck tattoo.
Do you know what? So
that's it. If he could just get it removed.
So my thing about his tattoo isn't that it's in an awful place, isn't that it's
no, it's not the placement.
Yeah,
I agree.
It's not even an ugly tattoo. My thing is, like, of all of the things you could do, you've got a word on your chest. The next thing, you know what? I'm gonna go from 0 to 100 and get a neck tattoo. CM Punk barely has a neck tattoo. Like, he's got a number behind his ear, but that's it. Like, if I was meeting the two of them on the street and they both had hoodies on, I would be more concerned about Cody than I would be about CM Punk.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. Right now, especially in this day and age, yes, I would be way more skeeved out by Cody Rhodes in a hoodie than CM Punk right now. That neck tattoo is a real. I'm shocked Brandy did not divorce him because she did not know it was going to happen, as legend goes. But it's that question, right? He is getting into the mainstream right now. They are penetrating beyond their hardcore fan base. They are really building momentum. So that's the question, right? I think that's what I was trying to find the words for. How do you keep momentum when you already are so high in the intensity, right? Without it feeling like a come down, like we're losing steam, even though you know that you may not be able to, because Rock won't be on every show. Roman won't be on every show, right? So the B stories are going to have to do some of the work, and you're still going to have to give time to them to catch fire and to build momentum as well. As we said, there's so much we don't know about this card yet, and we got 7 weeks where they're going to give it to us. So every story's got to be compelling. Every story has to be super tight. Every character has to be making logical sense in their actions, and every performer has to be on their game every single moment they are on TV right now to pull off this magic trick. Because to everybody's point, I don't think they expected this fervor this early in the story. It's great that they have it, but now you have to be careful with what to do with it. And what a great problem to have. You know what I mean? Like, if I was going to have a problem as a creative team member, this is the problem I want.
I agree. I think this is where you can lean into, and I should wrap soon, but this is where you can lean into LA Knight, Logan Paul, the mid card titles to carry you for a bit. You could, right, like, you could lean into them to carry you for a little bit more, and then you can have The Rock do something to Cody, or you can almost play off the press conference that they've suspended all of the people involved to give them that much more time away.
Sure. And that's the other thing. Every time they get on the screen, you expect something big to happen now.
Yeah.
Right. So it's almost there is a danger in having them on for the sake of having them on, without truly progressing the story forward or having something majorly impactful. So yes, sometimes, creating a pretense, if you don't have something for them, find a way to utilize them without them on screen. But right now, all focus is going to be on Seth's world title, I think, for the next 2 weeks. They've got 6 Elimination Chamber qualifying matches going across Raw and SmackDown, which gives a great pretense for Raw stars to be on SmackDown and SmackDown stars to be on Raw, to feel like there's a little bit of a tail for every story carrying over. They're going to blur the lines a little bit. They'll probably do a draft in April to separate the rosters a little bit more now that we have GMs proper. So this is the time of year where the rosters can get blurred. This is how they're doing it for the next couple of weeks. And they're going to now say, like, okay, this is the loser brackets, because this is the question about Seth. Seth got buried. Seth absolutely got buried, that he is the loser bracket champion. So the question now is, they have to build up equity in that title. They have to build up more equity in Seth, and they have to do it through the Elimination Chamber. So that's going to be the real question. Can WWE, because this is all on purpose, right? This is a very conscious decision creatively to bury this championship that Seth has been carrying for so long, almost over 200 days now. They've got to now say, no, this championship is main event worthy of WrestleMania. We have 7 weeks to get it there. Elimination Chamber, these qualifying matches. That's where I think the story gets focused for a little bit going forward now. But, you know, what do you do at Elimination Chamber? You could have Drew versus Cody at Elimination Chamber. I don't know. Because they definitely are setting up Drew versus Cody. They're fighting a lot on camera. Cody just knocked his ass out of the ring this week. Like, you got a lot of balls in the air. So now what's Drew going to be doing at Mania? Is he going to be in the Elimination Chamber? Will he not be? Is Drew the TV feud with Cody? Maybe he beats Cody. And that makes the challenger for Seth's title look like a bigger deal and more of a threat than the challenger for Roman's title. I could see that storyline playing. So I think that's where we're going to see stuff in the short term. It's going to be focused on, to your point, that those secondary stories now. And those are going to have to really carry the weight for them. And I think they can. Again, you've got the people to do it with. If there was ever a time where it could all click, this is the time. And we have been clicking, my friend. Thank you for letting me do a run-in tonight.
You are very welcome. And as always, it has been a pleasure to get to hang out with you again. Next time we'll give you more than...
Call me anytime.
Yeah, well, I mean, next time we'll give you more than, hey, we're doing it right now. Do you want to hop on in terms of notice?
Hey, I was there, man.
I agree. You were absolutely there.
I'm sorry I missed the initial message. Sorry, dear listeners, to come in late. That was all my fault.
It is all good. I don't know how much time we'll be shaving out. So, folks, I hope you enjoyed the very impromptu discussion we had. Surprise guest run-in included. I don't really have any final thoughts, and I think if I ask Matthew if he has any final thoughts, he's going to continue talking. And while that's not a bad thing, my cat is currently looking at me like she's hungry, because she is. So I should probably go take care of her.
Go be a cat dad.
Yeah.
If people want to find my other final thoughts, they can find me on Twitter on Twix at Matthew Klein 316. You can find me on Instagram at Matthew Klein 1116. I'm on TikTok, Matthew Klein 316. I'm even on the Blue Sky at Matthew Klein 316. So follow me there if you wanna follow up with what's going on, and hopefully I will be back on in a future episode not too long, Alex, if you'll have me back.
Oh, we'll always have you back.
I'm the M in the jam, so I want to hold up my end of things.
Exactly. I really don't know how to end it, so I'm just gonna stop recording.
I think we just say let's enjoy the ride and let's enjoy the road to WrestleMania.
Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.